All right. What is good? Welcome back to the What Happened podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Dixon, with
Bingham.
Well said. All right, Bingham. This was a crazy week for us. You want to talk about some shit?
Oh, yeah, let's get into it.
All right. What should we start with? Let's start with the standings going into the week. All right, Zane, can you pull that? Actually, you don't have that. I'll just read it off to you to get everyone caught up on what we did. So in first place, Josh was in first, above Zach, then Zane, Carson, Bingham, Armed, Rodri, Losers React, Winners Respond, yours truly, Fogel's Footlong, Suquan D's Nuts, and Cobra, Kyler, Shame, and Zaby Baby bringing up the rear. Bingham, any thoughts on that before we get into everything?
Sounded like it was a pretty big switch up in the standings going into the week or following what happened this week. Obviously, we'll dive.
All right, Zane, that was from last. This is from the current week. You're spoiling everything, buddy. All right, there we go. Okay, we're not on that yet either, Zane. Good try, though. All right, Bingham, let's get into all the transactions that happened. We had a very busy week of things, and we have a lot to break down. So let's get started.
Let's do it.
The first trade was between myself and Dogs in him or Zach Walker. So I gave Justin Jefferson and Josh Jacobs to Zach for James Robinson, DK Metcalf, and Tyreek Hill. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of volume that you gave up in that trade, but I think you got some good players back that'll help you going forward. And obviously, your fantasy manager style, you're always looking to shake things up. So you're going to make some big moves, and you're never afraid of it.
No, I'm always willing to make moves. I made that move last Tuesday at the gym, or last Monday at the gym, and I was asking everyone around me, should I make this trade? Should I not make this trade? And the people next to me said, you should make that fucking trade. Don't be a pussy. So I accepted this trade because Justin Jefferson, he is consistent. He is very consistent. He can always put up around 20 points, and I wish I still had that looking back at how things went this week. Josh Jacobs had one big week before this week, and I wanted to trade him high. I didn't think he'd be able to put up the numbers that he did again, and that got proven wrong. James Robinson, he has been trending up as the running back one for the Jacksonville Jaguars, so I wanted to get him while he was still cheap and affordable. DK Metcalf with Geno Smith, how he's been playing, I couldn't say no to that. I think Geno and DK are going to have an insane connection, and I happen to have both of them on my team going forward. Tyreek Hill, if Tua's healthy, Tyreek is a top receiver in the league. But with Tyreek out, and who's their backup quarterback?
Well, it was Teddy Bridgewater, but I think he's in the protocol now too. So Skylar Thompson.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So now looking back, that is terrifying to me. So I'm hoping that going forward, Tua gets healthy and can figure his shit out with Tyreek.
Yeah, I got just one more thing on that trade. I think it would have been hard for anyone to predict Josh Jacobs getting this much volume again, because after the first few weeks, it wasn't really touching the ball much.
He had no touchdowns the first few weeks and had all of these past 2 weeks. So I'm hoping he tears his ACL. Make me feel better about myself. All right, the next trade involves Suquan D's Nuts and Oklahoma Drill. Suquan D's Nuts gave David Montgomery and Juju Smith-Schuster to Oklahoma Drill for J.K. Dobbins. Bingham, any comments on that?
Just a small trade between some guys that, be kind of in and out, I guess. Juju, I think everyone thought he'd be their number one wide receiver coming into the season. Hasn't done much yet, but I still think that they're
Who
probably.
Who would you say is the Chiefs' number one receiver? You have Travis Kelce, who's been putting him the numbers as a number one, but he's a tight end.
I think over the last couple of weeks, you can kind of see him and Valdez-Scantling kind of working together on some deep shots.
Yeah.
But I think that going forward, I think Juju and Mahomes just need some time to build some of that chemistry, and I think they'll be a good pair going forward.
I think a few TikTok dances between the two of them will make them have a perfect connection.
Or
I also think David Montgomery might be more valuable than J.K. Dobbins individually, so I don't see why Nate threw Juju in that for fun. I guess he just wanted to get him off his bench.
I think Nate hates Juju for what he did to him this year so far. And I think it is interesting because the Bears are a run-heavy team whenever you look at Justin Fields' statistics so far. So
Can't
Yeah,
pass it very well.
if Montgomery stays healthy, he'll be big in fantasy.
That's true. That's true. All right. Third trade. This is another gigantic trade between two of these nuts and Oklahoma Drill again. Two of these nuts gave Khalil Herbert, Brandon Cooks, and CMC to Oklahoma Drill for AJ Brown and Joe Mixon. Wow. When I saw this one go through, I was shocked that they gave up this many pieces.
Yeah, same here. I can't believe this trade was accepted.
Yeah.
Khalil Herbert, he looked good whenever David Montgomery got hurt, but
once he comes back, is he going to play at all? Is he going to get the same snaps?
He's going to be the number 2 guy, and Montgomery's going to get all the snaps for him.
Yeah.
I think giving up Joe Mixon and AJ Brown, the beginning of the season looked very good. You kind of see Dallas Goedert and Devonte Smith getting a lot of targets now as well. So maybe it was the right time to move on from AJ Brown.
Trade him high.
It's going to be tough to see right now.
And Joe Mixon has not been playing super good either. I have him as a high up running back right now, but he has not been playing as good. He's not finding the end zone where he should be.
Yeah, their revamped O-line doesn't look very revamped right now.
It looks even worse than before somehow. It's also worth noting that Josh is a huge Panthers fan, and CMC is one of Josh's fucking guys.
He does have his jersey.
CMC if he had the chance.
Yep, he does have his jersey. He's inside.
I think there might be some hometown bias with this trade a little bit, which is good job to Carson for capitalizing on that hometown bias. All right,
100%.
let's work into the fourth trade, the trade that had everyone talking this weekend and had the commissioner sweating bullets for a while. All right, this was between Nate and Braden, or Zaby Baby. Suquan D's nuts. Nate gave Austin Eckler and Gabe Davis to Zaby Baby for Ezekiel Elliott and Devonte Adams. Wow.
Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that ended up unpacking through that trade, and we'll get into that later. But I mean, Eckler has had 2 monster weeks now.
Why would Nate send that trade to begin with?
Well, yeah,
it's also worth noting Nate sent that trade to Braden.
I think it shows how bad everyone knew that trade was whenever even Nate was shocked that he forgot about the trade and that he threw Gabe Davis in there, and obviously led to some illegal activities trying to get that thing vetoed.
Oh, yeah. It's also worth noting, Nate will be mad if I don't mention this. Nate sent that trade before Austin Eckler and Gabe Davis played this week. He sent that on Friday or Saturday, I believe. And Braden was sitting on this trade until mid-game of the 12 o'clock slate.
Yeah, he saw Gabe Davis catch those 2 long touchdowns and Eckler going off, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll accept that." Gabe Davis
put up 16 points in the first quarter, and he jumped on the trade instantly, as anyone would.
Also, though, something that no one would have seen coming that is going to make Nate feel a lot worse about the trade. I'm pretty sure we'll get into this later as well, but stories around Devonte Adams now. Who knows what will happen to him after last night's game?
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a second. I think we should let's break down everything that happened with the trade. What happened with the trade? What did Nate do?
Mean? So you wanted to go into the monetary activities that happened?
I think we should get into the illegal bribery that Suquan D's nuts got into.
Well,
I would say this. In our league, we require an 8-person veto for every trade. It's very hard to get 8 people to veto because normally the 2 owners will never veto. So it's 2 other people that have to veto. Mm-hmm. So what did Nate do to get the 8 vetoes?
Well, he knew how to get to Ed's heart by he gave him 2 Red Bulls, and that had Ed hooked off the bat.
No, that's what Ed counted for. What about Josh? What did he do for Josh?
I don't even know if he did anything for Josh. I think Josh just vetoed it because he thought it was a bad trade.
And yeah, that's fair enough. So Josh's is one pure veto. But Zachary Walker did not veto it. So he's another good person. And Zane, he did veto it, but he did not receive any compensation, correct?
He did not. And Zane, at the time when he vetoed it, he was the last vote that Nate needed.
Yeah.
But at the time, Zane did not know that was the case, and he vetoed it because he thought it was a terrible trade, just like everyone in the league. and it ended up being the vote that pushed the trade through, and that's what caused the turmoil.
Yes, it was. Commissioner, you did that to yourself. Number 4, Carson did not veto because he is against any trade that doesn't benefit him.
Hmm.
Bingham, what did you get out of it?
Well, I think everyone who is around here on Sunday evenings, we have our new tradition of we get Domino's for every Sunday night football game. And Nate said he would pay for my pizza, and I was hooked. I couldn't
That's
say
about
no to free pizza.
$6.50 veto right there.
Mm.
All right. So Jared also did not veto. I vetoed for $5, which paid for my veto and my silence. I'll take $5 for anything. If I get to cause chaos in this league, I'll do it at every chance possible. I just love fucking with Zane.
Yep.
Isaiah, he vetoed for, I believe, $5. Do you know that?
I'm not exactly sure if Isaiah got anything. I think he just vetoed it.
I think he also just wanted to piss off Zane, which is half the fun in this league. Suquan D's nuts, obviously the manager in question, he vetoed just so he could keep his players. Bryce, as you mentioned, he got the Red Bulls. Caleb, he got $5 and swore to God that he did not get $5. So there, he might have to be doing some praying to get back in God's good graces for all that.
He did swear to God. I thought that was interesting.
It made me laugh. So Braden obviously was the last person he did not veto. That was the 8 vetoes. And what do you think will come out of all this?
Well, I think there's definitely going to be a stricter watch on trades. I think that, I mean, even in we have a contract for a league that states against monetary, just monetary stuff to, influence other people to benefit you. So I'm not sure how much more can happen. I really don't. I don't see this happening again.
If it happens again, we'd have to get into talk about trades being no longer a league veto and switch over to commissioner review, which I don't want to happen. I think the power should be kept with the people.
I think so as well. I think it'll stay that way. But I think obviously, I mean, we've seen what happens now with what happens whenever monetary values are influenced in trades, and those trades just get pushed through at the end of the day. So people can try all they want, but it's never going to work.
Zane rules with an iron fist. That's for sure.
Yes.
All right, let's get into the pieces of the trade and what we think they're going to end up looking like.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Eckler, he is trending up hard.
Yeah, he's had back-to-back around 30-point weeks now. He got about 170 yards on the ground yesterday.
And I think
on
2
a
touchdowns also.
Cleveland Browns defense. Sorry, Dickie.
The Cleveland Browns defense is rated the 27th in the NFL by PFF, so we'll take that. I think it was only up from there. Gabe Davis has been breaking out as a wide receiver 2 on a high-powered Buffalo Bills offense.
Gabe Davis is going to be their deep threat guy, as it was on full show yesterday against the Steelers. Everyone's going to be worried about Diggs every week they play, and that's going to give Gabe Davis a lot of opportunities. And I think it's worth noting, he had that week 1, he had that long touchdown. And then ever since then, he's been kind of quiet, but he was dealing with a sprained ankle, I believe. So I think now that he's getting fully healthy, I think he'll go back to being that big explosive player for the Bills.
I do too. Khalil Shakir is also a name to keep an eye out for the Bills. He has been putting some numbers up silently. If you're looking for a good bench receiver for the bye week, that is a name to watch out for also.
100%.
So let's watch out the fat guy, Zeke Elliott. What do you think about him?
I just think anyone who's watched even a little bit of the Cowboys knows that Tony Pollard provides them with so many more explosive plays.
Yeah.
Zeke just, I don't know. It doesn't look like he has it anymore at all. So I think he's just kind of going to be their little short yardage guy, but Tony Pollard's going to get their big explosive plays.
Definitely. Zeke looks like he's running in sand whenever he's on the field. He looks terrible. Oh. And the man that's on the news right now, Devonte Adams. Wow. You can't do that. You can't shove a cameraman.
I don't care how mad you are at the end of the game. Shoving a photographer, a camera guy, whoever it was, it's not going to be good news for him. It doesn't help that they're going into their bye week. So Nate has a week away from Devonte Adams, who had a big night yesterday. And more than likely a suspension is probably coming for him. So who knows if it's just going to be one game? I think it's
Nate
too
is
early to tell.
hoping it's a 1-game suspension because he's on the bye, so you count that even as a week suspension.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it could be. I think 1 game is the minimum on that with a hefty fine.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, who knows? It may be too early to tell to see how many games he gets suspended for, but I would say at least 1 for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And the police report that came out of it, it's going to make it more interesting.
It's just going to keep the attention on it. Devonte wants this to get buried under the rug, and I don't think it will that quickly.
No, I don't think his little cute Twitter apology will do it.
He didn't even seem to care in that, in my opinion. But all right, you want to get into winners and losers of this week? What all transpired?
Yep, let's go over it.
All right, Zane, can you pull up the winners and losers who won and lost this week? Perfect. All right, we can start from the top.
Yep.
Linguini and Suquan D's nuts. Wow, 53 points.
Yeah, that'll be the last time Nate comes anywhere close to that.
Yeah, I don't see him breaking 100 ever again. Linguini put up a good amount of points. He would have beat a lot of teams in the league this week. He got an unlucky draw going against Suquan D's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fogel's footlong versus dogs in him.
Yeah, Fogel's footlong, to put it kindly, had a terrible week.
He fucking sucks.
He would not have beat one person in the league, no matter who he played, which is, I mean, 61 points in fantasy. That's got to be just disheartening for the owner of that team.
Yeah, a lot of teams had twice his score, which is embarrassing to say the least. Dogs in him, a strong performance though. He's been relatively consistent with his performance, putting over 100 each week. Besides his week against Bryce, where I believe Bryce beat him, or it was a very close game. I'm not too sure on that one.
I don't remember either, but yeah, he's obviously looks like one of the powerhouses in this league so far.
Yeah, he's sitting at second right now, so he is one to watch out for. And it looks like we got a name change in the league. What is his new name? What is Caleb's new name?
His new name is The One Who Knocks. It's
okay,
just The One Who Knocks.
Don't know what that means.
I think he probably thinks he's like it's probably because he's in 8th place, so maybe he's trying to act like some Grim Reaper or something. He's coming for the upsets.
Okay, you have one good week. You can't be that guy yet. You did put up 63 points. Congratulations. I think Josh might be a little upset about this one.
Josh is definitely not going to be happy. We got to see that firsthand in the apartment on Sunday.
Yeah,
he had a lot of things to
say. Some
say.
walls were punched. Caleb, fuck you for making us deal with that.
I wonder if this means though if Caleb will. I mean, look, he's not in last anymore, but
no,
maybe he's getting some confidence. Will he take the ACT at the end of the year?
I could see Caleb blocking all of our phone numbers and never talking to us again before he takes the ACT. Respectfully, Caleb, I would love for you to take the ACT or have or we could find an alternative punishment for you. Whatever works, please just don't drop out of the league. Don't be a pussy.
Just take the ACT, pussy.
Yeah, don't be a bitch. All right, Bingham. The host played this week, and what a consistent game from Bingham's team. Like everyone put up their projected points, around the projected points, and I got completely outclassed.
I'm happy with how my team performed this week. We got the job done. Nothing explosive. I think it sucks for you that your only player who scored a touchdown was your quarterback, and he threw one of them.
I had one touchdown scored through my entire team, and he wasn't even the highest scoring person on my team. My kicker was actually the highest scoring person on my team, and that hurt me bad. I want to tilt fully into the season and trade my entire team away, but I deleted the app, so I don't do that.
I think that way. I think another thing that hurts you a lot deep down was seeing how your bench performed, and it had to be disappointing.
Of benches, I would have won this week. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah.
All right, 2 of these nuts versus Cobra Kyler. We have a last place versus third place matchup, and it went about how you would expect.
Yeah, it went how you expect. 2 of these nuts got the win, but you can't count out Cobra Kyler he was in it till the very end. So his team fought, but he just didn't get the job done. They're sitting in last now. It's looking very rough for him going forward. I'll get into that later when we make our projections, but it's looking very rough.
It's also worth noting, two of these nuts has not had many standout wins, some big game wins. He's not putting up a lot of points, but he has one of the strongest rosters in the league. A lot of his games are comeback games where he barely clinched out a win.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that he comes back in just about all of his games that he plays. So,
I believe he sold his soul.
That could be a possibility, but also, maybe his team just has a lot of fight. They sound like they're being coached by Nick Sirianni right now. They got some dogs on that team.
Dogs? What? He also is making a lot of trades. If you don't receive your trade from Carson every week, something went wrong.
Yeah, he does send a lot of trades. A lot of them aren't very good.
Most of them are complete horseshit. All right,
Yes.
Last one, Armed Rodgery versus Zaby Baby. This is a close one. Wow.
I think it's big for Zaby Baby that he got the victory in this one. Moves up to 2-3. He was in last place coming into this week.
Yeah.
So he got the win, and as we already talked about, he got a lot better with the trades he made. So, or I guess the one trade he made, but I think he got some good players coming into his team, and
he got lucky.
His running back room looks good, and his receivers, by the way.
He has a very solid roster. You have to watch for him making a run, trying to climb out of the hole he dug himself in the first 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Jared has one of the stronger rosters on the team. I believe he was the top grade after draft, and he is starting to fall off now. It's not good for him to fall because it's already pretty damn close to the ground.
Yeah, it was a very hot start for him, and it's looking like it's fallen off for him very quick, down to 7th place in the league. We'll have to see if the team bounces back for him.
I hope he is. I believe he is praying for that comeback.
I think he was too.
We are at the point where we would get into the ad read normally, but we are in contract dispute with some presenting sponsors. So we can just say, what would we say here, Bingham?
It's up to something season for this podcast. We have a big sponsor coming in next week. We are very excited for it. We're looking forward to it a lot.
We are happy to be partnered with them. They are someone who is very near and dear to our heart.
I think a lot of the viewers of this channel will benefit greatly from this sponsor.
Definitely. All right, Zane, can you pull up the week 6 matchups? And we're going to get into our week 6 picks, where we pick who we think is going to win and lose. It's a competition for the rest of the year. And do you want to make some put some money on this, or make a post bet?
Yeah, let's make a bet. What do you want to do?
We can think about that for next week. We can do a little punishment at the end of the season. Whoever wins and loses the most games.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Maybe sprinkle a little bit of money on it weekly.
Yeah, sounds good. We do a $1 bet every game, something.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, let's start with the top one: Linguini versus Dogs in 'em. Who do you have winning this one?
Well, I picked Linguini to win this game.
Okay, I also picked Linguini to win this game.
Looking through his team, I saw. Look, he has a good roster, but he's starting Lazard this week at wide receiver. And based off of some information I received from Aaron Rodgers Tuesday on the Pat McAfee show today, look for Lazard to have a big week upcoming.
That, and Zach has a lot of players on bye this week. He is basically throwing this week away with the amount of players he has on bye. I tried to offer him some depth in the trading block, but he rejected it, saying, "Nah, I'm all right." So I hope he loses. Fuck that guy.
I did notice his bench is full of players with a bye week, so I think it would be very disappointing for Linguini if he was not able to get the win this week.
Yeah, this is basically a bye week for Linguini. Don't fuck it up.
Yep.
All right, next is my matchup with Fogel's Footlong versus myself. I took myself in this one.
I don't know. Oh, yes, I took you as well.
Thank you.
I didn't have any reason why. I just think that
I can tell you why.
I just think your team looks better based off how we saw what Fogel's Footlong did last week. I don't know if I can ever pick him until his team shows me something else.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. I will say my team is called Losers React, Winners Respond, and my team is going to respond. You better believe that.
They
The
didn't
next
respond
game,
last week, but I think they'll
no, because they
respond
won
this week.
last week. So they won, then they lost, but then they're going to win again. We're
Okay,
on a
that's fair.
cycle here. We have to break out of this. All right, the
Yep.
next game, a very high-powered game. First place versus third place. Who do you have in this one?
Looking at it at the beginning, I originally took Tua D's nuts, but after going back through it, I switched it to Oklahoma drill. I like McCaffrey for Oklahoma drill. Obviously, Baker's hurt. They have PJ Walker starting this week. I think they're going to have to lean on McCaffrey a lot. So I think he's going to have a great game for Oklahoma drill. And I think the QB matchup will be interesting. But I like Josh Allen going against the Chiefs. I think he'll be able to put up some numbers. I think it'll be a very high-scoring game that favors Josh Allen. So I'm taking Oklahoma drill.
Well, I also think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. I like the way that what Tua D's Nuts team is looking like this week, and I took Tua D's Nuts to upset the number 1 seed.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I guess you could call it an upset, I guess, but obviously both of these teams are very high powered, so I'm looking forward to see how this matchup turns out.
this is one to watch, definitely. All right, you versus Armed Rodgery.
It pains me a lot, but I am picking Armed Rodgery in
Are
this
you?
game.
Why is
I'm
that?
picking. Well, whenever I really tried to break it down, I just don't know. I like he has Mark Andrews starting for him at tight end, and I'm going through it at the tight end position right now. Kyle Pitts has not panned out how I wanted him to. Now he's hurt. I'm starting Hunter Henry so far. Don't know if I'll be able to make a move. I just don't think I'll get enough production out of that to win the game. So I had to pick Armed Rodgery. It hurt a lot.
I feel bad for you having to do that. I also bet against you. I took Armed Rodgery in this one too.
Understandable.
Sorry about that.
Understandable.
I have you next week though. All right, Cobra Kyler last plays versus Suquan D's Nuts, the worst trader in the entire league.
Yeah, I just couldn't. I didn't want to pick Suquandy's Nuts just because their manager might be the most retarded person I've ever met in my life. But really looking at it, Cobra Kyler still has Matt Stafford starting at quarterback, and he has not shown me one thing this year that he can be a good fantasy quarterback. And Suquandy's Nuts, they do have Ramondre Stevenson in the starting lineup now at running back.
Yeah.
Obviously, Damian Harris is going to miss a few weeks, so Ramondre is going to get a lot of volume. I like his matchup, so that's why I went with Suquandy's Nuts.
Well, we have another one we disagree on. I took Cobra Kyler in this one. I think he's going to have a bounce back week. He's going to put up a good amount of points. You mentioned Ramondre Stevenson. I think the Browns' interior D-line is going to wake up this week. We're going to go from last place in the NFL to first on defense, and we are going to come back against the Patriots, and they're not going to score once against us. And I fully believe that. So I took Cobra Kyler.
I respect it. It.
The last one is the one who knocks. It's a shitty name versus Zavy Baby.
Yeah, to put it kindly, I think the one who knocks is going to go back to the shit show that his team was to start the year. Obviously, we already talked about the trade that Zavy Baby made. Their team looks incredible. I don't know if I'll ever be able to pick against that team going forward unless there's a major injury that happens. I think Zavy Baby is going to turn it around.
Well, I did pick against Zavy Baby. I am regretting that pick, but I'm going to stick with it, stick with my gut. I am noting that he does not have an active kicker in, so his projected points is even higher than it is lower than it should be whenever he gets on his waiver claim. I am hoping that the one who knocks used to be Shame. That's a shitty name. That he finds something and continues to take himself out of the hole.
I think Shame is going to return after this
week. There's a good chance of that one. I don't like that pick anymore. Whatever. All right. We went through all that. Let's look at the current standings where everyone's sitting at going into week 6. Zane, can you do that? You're a fucking legend. Okay. Any off the top of your head things?
Well, it's very interesting seeing the 3 teams at the top that are all 4-1, and then you look at the points for differential. We talked about it earlier with Tua D's Nuts. hasn't really had any standout games, but he's getting the job done. His points for is worse than 8th place right now. So if his team if he can't win these close games or his team doesn't start showing up, he's going to drop in the league a lot. So I think that has to scare his manager. And it's just very interesting to see his team still 4-1 with his points for.
He has gotten lucky so far. It's also, I'm laughing at Cobra Collar there at the bottom of the league. He is the second or third lowest in points against, but he's still at the bottom of the league. He is just not scoring any points.
His team has not shown up this year, and I'm not sure if it ever will, which it's got to be tough for that manager.
Yeah,
it's looking like
that's
the
what
ACT
happens when you
is in
draft
his
two
future.
quarterbacks on your team.
That's fair.
It's normally not the best moves you can do.
Or
Oklahoma Drill is putting up those big points. Good for him. You have a lot of points against, but you are putting up points and winning games. So good on you.
Yeah, it's been a lot of. I think the best analogy I can use for my team is boxing. We've been taking a lot of fucking shots to the dome, but we've been bouncing back some. So hopefully teams will start. Exactly. Hopefully teams will start just shitting all over me. They'll calm down a bit. Hopefully my team can just stay consistent.
Consistent is the key in this league right now. Awesome. Well, I think that's all we've got planned out for this week's podcast.
Yeah, I think this is a great first episode. Looking forward to next week whenever we have our sponsor. It's going to benefit all of you greatly. It's been a pleasure being on here with you. I'd like to thank our producer, Zane, for putting all this together.
Thank you, Zane. Zane, can you turn your camera on and say, do you have anything to say? Say, Zane.
No, I don't have anything to say. I just want to congratulate you guys on a great first podcast.
Thank you. You did a
Appreciate
great job
it, Zane.
producing it.
Thanks for your work.
Yeah, no problem.
I was hoping he would only say no.
That's what I thought was coming.
A few more words today. I got the headset on. In my ears.
Well said. Well said. All right, we're running out of meeting time, so I'm going to end it there. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We will be back with you next Tuesday.